Netflix shares riding high today after reporting a surge of nearly 9 million new subscribers, as well as beating on the top and bottom lines. The company also saying it will raise the prices of its subscriptions again, following suit of many streamers. All of this coming as new research shows that within the next 5 years, each person is expected to have nearly 6 media subscriptions. That's one of the many findings from Activate Consulting's annual report. Its founder and CEO, Michael Wolf, is joining us now. Michael, you and I have not talked in a very long time, so it's good to chat with you. Talk to me about these streaming, services that people are going to have. And are we talking about just streaming? Are we talking about media of different kinds? What is that portfolio for individuals going to look like?
Yeah, it's interesting. We've been looking at this for about 9 years now. And 9 years ago, if you look, the average consumer was subscribing to 1.7 services. Today, we're up to 4.9, and we're forecasting it's going to be close to 6 within 3 years. And these are paid streaming services. It doesn't include the free subscriptions for Tubi and Pluto and others that are called fast services. But we are seeing the market. What's happening is Netflix and others, they're all moving to, they have an ad tier, they're putting in an ad tier, and they're raising their prices. And what's slowing down is the churn in these customer bases. So, and finally, people are coming, but they're coming for the originals. And when all these companies say they're going to cut back on programming spend, in reality, they don't have any other choice but to continue to spend on programming.
And Michael, I'm also interested in how much sports is driving all this. If live sports rights, if you own those, it seems to me you're in a great spot. Everybody wants them, including Apple, Amazon, Google. What's sports role here?
There are a couple of things that are happening there. One of them is the streaming services are now going to take some select games or some select nights. And I think that's going to be one of the things that's going to be driving interest to their services. In addition to that, ESPN has a very strong direct-to-consumer offering. It doesn't have everything yet, but I would expect it would. And finally, we have all of the local games. We don't know where they're going to go because a lot of the regional sports networks are doing very badly, and including one of the groups, Diamond Sports, is bankrupt. So I think that we should expect to see this. And one of the things, if you look at, we publish our annual technology media outlook, and it's on our site, activate.com, but you can see the raise in prices and also the tremendous amount of interest of how many rights are going to go to the streaming services.
Well, and then, of course, there is streaming versus other ways we spend our time. Of course, right. This is something that we've heard about from Netflix, which says, everything else is its competition, effectively. You guys put in your report an attention clock, which I sort of find depressing because things like sleep get about 6 of that, and all of this other stuff is sort of crowding for our attention here. Are our screens going to take up a larger and larger proportion of this attention clock?
Screens are going to take up a larger portion. Audio listening is going to take a larger portion of it. It is crowding into two things. It's crowding into work time and sleep time. And so, and we believe, so if you look at our attention clock shows, on average, because of multitasking, the average American is spending around 31 hours a day with technology and media. And that is good. About 13 hours a day is entirely on technology and media. But if you look at it over time, it was around 12 a day before the pandemic. It jumped up until around 13, and it's going to continue to go up. We're forecasting by 2027, it's going to be close to 13 and a half hours a day, 13 and a half hours a day of attention with technology and media.
And Michael, those super users that you're talking about in your report there, any details on the demographics of those super users, Michael, how that breaks down? I mean, who is the super user by age, men versus women?
It's all over the place. I mean, there's just no set rule. People always imagine it's 18 to 34-year-olds, but it's really all over the place. And some of it just depends on the things that they're interested in. So we find, for example, that 24% of all super users account for over 50% of e-commerce purchases, or over 70% of all video gamers. In some cases, they're exactly the same people. It's just these are people, and the numbers, what we look at is 24% of all users account for 18 hours a day of multitask time, and that's compared to 9 hours a day for all other users, for that other 76%. So, and this is a phenomenon. I mean, we're going to expect that everybody in the technology and media business, as well as in e-commerce and other areas, we expect this is the group of people they're going to focus on. We are highly penetrated now in terms of video and in terms of streaming services and internet, and now it's going to be focusing on the most valuable users.
And so, how do they get those users and keep those users, Michael? Presumably, this is where you come in and what these companies turn to you to figure out insights on. I mean, presumably then the battle for these users is going to be really tough. What is going to make the winners stand out here? What are they going to need to do?
Well, our annual report is based on very large consumer research studies as well as industry analysis. And part of what we've been doing for every business we work in is really understanding what are the triggers, what gets these people to consume more. And also, what we do know is that people who are super users in one area, they are super users in another. So if somebody's a super gamer, then they also tend to be people that go to concerts. So it's finding them, identifying them, and understanding what gets them to move. How do you get them?
Michael Wolff, thank you so much for your time and insight today, Michael. Appreciate it.
Great to be here.